Hello, good evening, everyone. So today we will mostly discuss on two things. One is Xmind, another thing is Node.js. So what is Xmind? What is Node.js? So I will talk about that later on. But let me first give you a little bit of hint on the final project. So we are keeping this final project on a hold because I want to teach this how to build your API, this thing first. Okay. And those who haven't completed this assignment 3, so I just want to give another submission, extension of the submission date by a day or two, maybe till tomorrow we will accept the submissions. After that, we will not accept it. Okay, so please submit by tomorrow, by the end of the tomorrow. Okay, and once the submission is complete, then only maybe we will disclose the details on the final project. Okay, and as I have already mentioned in the last session, that in final project there will be two phase. First phase, you have to consume some certain APIs like what you have did already for the weather API. So we will give you some certain APIs and you have to consume those APIs in your React application. So React is something which you are going to learn next, right? And that is the scope of development one. Means you are building UI and there you are consuming the APIs, data from the APIs. The scope of development two, the option two is that you have, so we will give you some areas where you can develop your own API. So that API development would be on Node.js. Okay, so whatever API we would give you, so we will give you the full source code that will be available on GitHub. You can fork that repository, or you can clone that repository. You can just do your modification or add your own APIs and then push your API to the Node.js server, and then later you consume those new APIs in your final project. So that would be another scope of development. So for that, I'm just starting from this API creation part. So that is built on Node.js. Okay. So that is the updates I've already taken, that weekly assignment, and there is an assessment test, guys, everyone. So tonight the assessment test will open at 7 p.m. and after this today's session ends, and after that you will be able to attempt for it in between these 7 to 10 p.m. Okay, so that is a 10-minute of test only. So there are only 15 questions which you have to attempt. Okay, so are you ready, guys, to start with Node.js? Yes. Okay, so today's session will be mostly on the coding front. So I will so for the last 4 sessions I haven't done any coding or anything like that, but today I will share my screen, my coding screen, then my editor, and there I will show you how you can create your own HTTP server, how you can create your first API, how you can establish database connection in between MongoDB and Node.js, and how you can write data to the database, how you can read data from the database. That is something which I'm going to teach today. All right, so are you okay, guys? So let's start today's session on Node.js. So let's create our first API. Right, so for that, let me share my screen. I'm stopping my screen sharing, so I have to share my editor. Guys, is the editor visible to all of you? Yes. Okay, so we will move inside this directory called node. So I have this local directory. So here I will create a blank project, say mkdir node. So let's name this project as first node API, right? So we'll move inside this first node API. Inside this project, we will do npm init. So npm, you all know, right? What is npm? I have already explained in last session. Npm stands for node package manager, right? Yes. So here, once you do npm init, then you have, it will ask for a few questions. So first, what is the package name? So I'm saying the package name is first node API. Version name, description, if you want to give in, you can give. What is the entry point? Means what should be the primary file. So here I'm telling that it should be the index.js. Okay. And if there is a Git repository, that we can give keywords, author, license, that all. Okay, so it is saying it is about to write this first package.json file. So here is the here is the JSON file and is a configuration unit. Whatever questions I have answered here, it is coming here properly, like name, version, description, main, scripts, author, and all, license, right? Is it okay? Yes. Fine. So I will open this folder in my code editor. Yes. So the editor is visible, guys. Yes. Okay, great. So now let's see our package.json file. So whatever we have mentioned, it is properly present here in the screen. Now we will install few more packages. Okay, so few other packages are required. So like npm install minus save means I want to save these packages in my package.json file. That is, one is this mongoose and body parser. And third thing is express. Express is something which is a framework that is developed on top of Node.js. So this gives some easy to use view engine, the routing engine, and everything. Okay, so using express we can quickly create our server. All right, so now let's open this thing. Yes, so our package.json file is ready, and so here we will do a npm install. So we will run an npm install command. So it will take some time. If you also have yarn, also you can use yarn also. So yarn is something which is similar to npm, but yarn is developed by Facebook. And as per my personal understanding, yarn is way faster than the current npm what we have. Okay, so right now in for if you ask me, so I'm also using yarn. Okay, so you will see one thing. Once I did this npm install, so there are two files that popped up. One is that package lock.json, and another thing is that is node modules. Okay, so what is happening? Say in this package lock.json, here whatever packages are getting installed means whatever node modules, and see this node module, this express or mongoose, they can have more than one dependencies. So those dependencies are also mentioned here in this package.json file. So is this visible, guys, properly to all of you? Yes. Okay. So here in this file, you will see there are, say, body parser has several dependencies like bytes, content type, debug. Okay. So what it will do, once you will run this npm install, this file gets generated. Here it is listing all of the dependencies that one module has, and it is storing all of this, downloading all of the dependencies from the internet or the npm repository to this local folder. Okay, in this local folder, all of these files are present. So if you open, say, you want to explore the what is inside express, so you can do that. So there is a folder called express. Inside express, whole source code of express is given. Say inside their lib, you will get all of their source codes, whatever they have. Okay, so the request and response, how they are managing things. So this is something you should, it is not of our interest right now, because that is something which happens by default. Okay, so now this file is ready. So now we said that our main file is an index.js file. So here we have to create one new file called index.js, right? So in this index.js, so we have to import the libraries that we have already installed, like express, the body parser. What that does, I will talk about that later on. Okay, so let first import the express.js, the express library that we have imported. So to import one, so I will define it as a constant express equals require express. Okay, I will import another thing called body parser, require body parser, right? So here on the right hand side, you can see also the size of these libraries, corresponding libraries. Okay, so now here what we will do, we will define our application first. So I will define that this application, whatever we are creating, is an express application. So to do that, we will define a constant called app, which will call the express function. This express constant that we have defined, which will call that. Okay. Next, we have to tell the app to use the body parser. So what it does, so whatever, say whenever we have to handle, so whenever we are creating API, say in every API we have to send some data, right? So say you are submitting a form. Okay, so if you are writing an API for create method, okay, there you have to pass some data, right? So the data would go inside this request body. So body parts, what body parser does, it helps us to parse that, and it provides that parsed body to the application. So that is something which is doing. So this app is using body parser, which is parsing the request body as JSON, and it is making it available to the application. Okay, so another configuration that body parser requires, that is app.use body parser URL encoded, and there I have to pass a configuration. So this is something which you have to do one time only, so you don't have to do change things here every time. Okay, so the next thing is that, so next what we will do is that we will create one route. What is a route? Say route is something which what we use in a can you see my browser, guys? Is my browser visible? I know, right? Wait. Yes. So is it visible now? Now, say in this URL, say docs.google.com. Okay. So what is the domain name here? What is the domain name? Guys, what is the domain name here in this docs.google.com/presentation? In this URL, what is the domain name? Yes. So actually google.com, but it has a subdomain, say docs. So we can say that the whole domain is docs.google.com. And what is this presentation thing? What is this presentation thing? Presentation is thing. So whatever comes after the main domain is called the resources. Okay, in context of API or HTTP, it calls the resources. Okay, the resources that we want. So here we want docs.google.com/the presentation. Okay, so here in context of the Node.js application or the Express application, this is called a route. Okay, this is called a route. So how you define a route? Say first, if there is nothing, say if I would remove this presentation part, so there is only this slash option, right? Okay, that is something which is called a root route. So if there is only one slash, that means it is a root route. All right, so here in our Node.js application, here we will define our first route, which is a say root route. So here I'm saying in my application there is a get method. Say whatever URL you are typing and hitting on the browser is using by default the get method. And how you will submit a form, you will mostly submit form using the post method, right? So here I'm saying, say application.get means I want to write a get method here. Okay, so this is another thing. This is a function, so it's a kind of a callback function, you can say inside this get method. So if someone would request this slash URL, or someone would request say localhost something, say it is running in say port 8000. Okay, say localhost 8000 slash, then what it will do, it will come inside this block. Okay, so now we have to handle the request. Here we have to handle the request. If someone types say slash, like whatever Google did, say slash presentation, right? There was a presentation So if this is slash presentation, then we have to handle the request accordingly. Okay, say it is something, say when someone comes to the home page, so this route would get executed. But whenever someone would type slash presentation in the URL, the request would come to this block. So here we have to handle the request for presentation route. Here we have to handle the request for the root route. Right? Is it clear, guys, till this part? Okay. Is it clear for everyone, guys? I think it is more than 100 people are there on the call. Okay, so now what will happen? So if some request is coming, so simply I will respond. So I will use this REST method. So from REST method, there is a function called send. So we can send an output there. Say I would give it as an object. So I will write a simple object, say ping pong. Right. So our basic in route is ready. So whenever someone would come to slash say our root route, so I would only respond with a simple object called, say in the object in the left hand side we have a key called ping, and on the right hand side we have an output and the value called pong. Okay, so this is something simple ping pong some type application. All right, so our routes are ready. So now I would say that our app would listen to a port. So here we have to start our application, right? Say our app is running in say 3001 port. So you can use any other port as well. So this also has a callback function. So whenever the server starts, so we will write a console log called server is running at port 3001, right? So now let's go to our terminal. So our application is ready. So now what we will do is that we will type node index.js. So index.js is something which is our start file. You can see, right? Our server is running at port 3001. Is it visible to all of you? Okay, great. So now let's go to the browser and let's see if the application is working at 3001. Yes, it is working, right? So it is giving ping pong. So our server is ready, right? So this is a few, I think 20 lines of code, and there are a lot of space inside. So you can assume it is 15 lines of code, where also we have defined another route as well called presentation. So inside presentation, you can send something else, say presentation. Inside presentation, we can say presentation hello world. So now if I would go there and type slash presentation, it is, you see, it is taking some time because I have made some code changes and I have not restarted our server. So to do that, we will close this process. We will again restart our server. Yes, now I will see it is giving presentation is hello world. So if I would go to root route, it is giving ping pong. If I would give presentation, it is giving presentation hello world. So instantly we have defined two routes, right? So till this part, if anyone has any confusion, then you can let me know. Okay, explain one again. So I will go through the code once again. So what I did is that I have created a folder, a blank folder using my terminal called nkdir. The first, what is that? First node API. Okay. So inside this first node API, I have installed few packages here, like the Express, the Mongoose, which we will use next to establish connection in between these node application and the MongoDB server. Okay, another thing is that there is another library called body parser. What body parser does, it helps us to parse the request body. Okay, so I have installed these three packages using the npm install, and then I have created one index.js file, because see, this file has to match with this file. Say it is saying that main file is index.js. So here at least I have to create one file called index.js. So here in this index.js file, so here first I have imported the Express. What is Express? Express is a framework that is developed on top of a Node.js, which helps us with better view engine, the easy to define route engine and everything. Okay, so that is something which Express does. And secondly, I have imported the body parser. I have explained the reason for that. So now here I am defining the application. So here I'm just simply calling this Express function, and I'm storing that value inside this application, this constant. Okay, so now here inside this application, I'm saying I'm just using body parser that will help us to decode the body, the request payload that is coming. It will help us to read the values from there. Okay, so now after our body parser is ready, application is defined. Next, we will define our routes. So what is routes? Routes is something which is the path where user will visit. So now, say instead of this presentation or say slash, if you would go to any other URL, it will not respond. It will say, if you say hello, it will not respond. It will say cannot get hello, right? That means this route is not defined. But if I go back to slash, you will see the ping pong is coming. All right, so whatever route we will define here, it will be available to our application. Okay, so here I have defined two routes. One is for the slash, one is for the presentation. So inside this slash, so this get method would have a request and response. So sorry, the request and response, two method will be available here inside this get. So using this response variable, we can send a response, say, and a simple object I am sending. We can also send simple string as well here. So we can also say hello world. Okay, something like that you can also send. So it will only send a simple string. So rather than sending a simple string, I'm just sending a JavaScript object here, which will appear in the consumer side as a JSON file. All right, so and after that, after our routes are defined, so now it is time to start the application. Now I'm saying, when if the application would start, it will start at the port of 3001. Okay, so our server, whenever the application would start, I will give a simple console log that is server is running at port 3001. I'm just printing a simple message. All right, so now to start a server, we have to just type, say, node index.js. Okay, so once that is running, so you will get the routes on the browser. If you try to find something else, you will get a 404 error. Is it clear now, guys? Okay. Okay, great. Now let's see. Now let's move to the complex part, means the database part. So so there we will define few routes. Okay, and we will establish connection in between the MongoDB. Okay, so anyone used MongoDB earlier? No. Okay, if you haven't used, it is not something which is rocket science. You can simply go to their website, you can download the community edition, you can start with for free, and then after then you will be able to use it. Okay, so once you will install MongoDB, so let me share my MongoDB database. Yes. Okay. So this is one MongoDB database. Sorry, the client that I have right now. Not now. I don't want to. update. Okay, so leave it. Okay, so this is a MongoDB database. So here a lot of applications are there. So inside every application there are data. So this application has only one data. Now you will see this is one application called Flipkart clone. So here we have products. Okay, so products is a collection, and inside the collection we have this document. All right, so this is something which is a MongoDB client called MongoDB Compass, and if you are using Windows, there you will get mostly you will get the client called RoboMongo or Studio 3T. So you will get, so if you are using Ubuntu, so there you will get this Studio 3T. That is also another great tool to explore the MongoDB database. All right, so okay, great. So now in order to use the MongoDB, so we will install sorry, we have already installed the Mongoose client. Sorry, the Mongoose, that is not a client. You can say it is a driver to connect in between, establish connection between Node.js and MongoDB, right? So here I will define a constant called Mongoose, which would require, this would require Mongoose. Okay, so now after our application is defined, so here we will define our database connection, define the DB connection. Okay, so here I will define a constant called DB equals Mongoose gives a connect method. So inside that connect method, we have to pass a connection string. So a connection string is something which is a URL of the MongoDB database, means where the application is running, and if there is any security, means username and password is required, so we have to supply that too. So to do that, first we have to write something like MongoDB :/. So our my MongoDB setup is running at localhost port 27017. This in this port the MongoDB application, the MongoDB server runs, and then we have to define the database name. So let's say this is our first Node API. Okay, so this is our connection string. This is something, only this thing is required from the application end. Okay, so nothing else. Okay, so our database connection would be established after that. So now next what we have to do is we have to we have to define a schema in our application. Okay, schema is something, say in MongoDB. So let me open the Mongoose documentation. Yes. Okay, so as it is saying, everything in Mongoose starts with a schema. Okay, so each schema mapped to a MongoDB collection. So whatever collection I have shown here, let me just shift this thing. Yes, so whatever collection I have shown you in our MongoDB database, so in order to establish connection in between the collection and the application, we have to define a schema. So how to define a schema? So there they have given a simple example. So here we have to import the Mongoose from the Mongoose library, and from that library we can take this schema function. So inside this schema function we have to, okay, sorry, the whether this is not visible, right? Just a minute, let me share the screen. Is it visible, guys? Okay, Now, what I have again, I will repeat this thing. So, defining your schema. So, everything in Mongoose start with a schema. Whatever they are saying, everything in Mongoose starts with a schema. So, each schema maps to a MongoDB collection. So, whatever collection that I have shown in my MongoDB client, so every collection is mapping to a schema. Okay. So, in case of RDBMS, we know that schema is something which defines the structure or the shape of the documents, though it is something is a flexibility of MongoDB that every document can have their own shape, but though we are trying to define one common shape for all of the documents. Okay, so the flexibility of MongoDB is that, say you are using this schema, and say in future you want to add few more fields, you can do that very easily, so it will not impact any other previous documents that is already present in the database. So how to define a schema? So here I will zoom in a bit. So here we have to import the mongoose function from the mongoose library. So from there, from this mongoose library, we will get this schema function. So here we are defining one simple constant called schema, new schema. Okay, title, author, body, then comments, the date, everything is there. Okay, so now let's use this schema structure in our application. So again, I will go back to our application. So inside this primary application folder, so here I will add a new folder called src. There inside this folder I will create a new folder called models. Okay, so inside this models folder I will create a new file called, say, post post schema.js, or say simply we can also name it as a post. Okay, so now let's paste this thing. So okay, so first there is the import from mongoose. Second, there is there, from there I'm taking this schema thing, and let's rename this thing to, say, post schema, and here we are using the schema method. So near here I'm defining the schema title should be string. There should be an author for this post, whose author value would be type string, and there will be a post body, or you can say content. So I would say the post content. Okay, so that is something, and I will remove this thing for now. And the fourth thing is the date, means what would be the, in which date a post is getting posted, and there is a boolean field called hidden or not, and there are some other fields as well. Okay, so I will remove this part. So now what I will do, that our schema is defined here. Okay, this is a simple form of schema, means that you can imagine this thing as a how you define your columns in the relational database like Oracle or MySQL or the PostgreSQL. All right, so our schema is defined. So now we have to export this schema. So to do that, we will export it as module.exports mongoose.model. So here we are saying that we are defining a new model. That is something why we have created this folder called models. So model is something which is a concept comes in MVC architecture, means the model view controller architecture. So model is something which establishes connection in between the database and the application. Okay, so each collection can be represented as a single model. So in case of this post schema, so we are making a post model from here. So here we have to define the model name. So I'm defining the model name is post, and then second we have to pass the structure of that model. So for that I will simply pass the post schema here. Say I'm saying my model's name is post and its structure is given here, something like that. All right, so this is how our schema gets created. So our schema is right now, it is ready. Our schema is ready, and we have created a new model called post, and we have exported it. So this model will be available in our application instantly. So in this index.js, we can use this model. Okay, so is anyone has any question, or should I repeat this part or explain this part once again? Is it clear, guys? Once again. Okay, great. I have no problem to explain. Okay, so now again, let's go back to the index.js file. So from where we will start. So first we have to establish connection, right? That is clear, right? We have to establish connection, means somewhere we have to persist the data. Say you are creating a blog application, say you are creating a clone of Facebook. Okay, so in that case you do add some post, right, in Facebook, where you upload some picture and then you write something to post, right? So somewhere you are persisting the data, right? Somewhere Facebook is also persisting the data, correct? So similarly, say this is a Facebook clone. Okay, so and we have to persist the data in our database. So, and for database we are using mongoose, sorry, the MongoDB. Okay, now what is mongoose? What I have said, what is mongoose? What is mongoose, guys? What I have said? MongoDB is fine, that is a database. What is mongoose? Nobody? Okay, it is a driver to establish connection between the Node.js application and yes, some of you are correct. So it is a driver that establishes connection between the Node.js and the MongoDB database. Okay, so that is why we have imported this mongoose in our primary index.js file. Okay, so mongoose is imported here properly. Then after that, we are saying we have to establish connection in between the Node.js application and the MongoDB database. In order to do that, mongoose gives us a connect method. Okay, so inside this connect method we have to pass a connection string. So what is a connection string? A connection string consists the database's host, database's port, and the database name, and if there is an username and password, we have to pass in that connection string. Okay, so here in our application, you do in my local database there is no username password. So or if we have a username password, we have to pass it something like this: username and then password, and then we can do something like that. Okay, so that's why we have to do it like that. But here we do not have any username and password, so I'm just simply establishing the database connection. So here the protocol is MongoDB, and here the host is localhost, and the application is running at the port 27017. Okay, and this is our database name, the first node API. So this is something, a database. So you can also add few name character as well, say first node API DB. Okay, so that is something, that is how we are establishing connection. Till that part, is it clear, guys? So then type clear on the chat. As this is a standard one, so this is the standard one, you can also follow this thing. Okay, so this is something, this part you can change, means that depending on the application you can change the database name. Okay, is it clear till this part? Connection string. Okay, fine. So now connection is string is fine. Now what I said in the last session is that everything in MongoDB is a document, right? It is a document based storage. Okay, and if we group multiple documents, say we say in your project, say, or in your what to say, in your college, so you have documents for different subjects, right? So you have documents, say you have books for Java, you have books for C. So on similarly you have project files for Java, you have project files for networking, you have project files for database, right? So how you group those project files? So here in case of MongoDB, you group similar files together using the collection. Collection, as the term says, right? Collection means we are collecting something. We are collecting the documents here in this case. So inside collection, we have multiple documents. Okay, so I have already shared the screen, right? So here I have shown these collections: user collection, product collection. Okay, so now in What Mongoose does, Mongoose is saying if you have a collection is in MongoDB, so here every collection, okay, so here everything in MongoDB Mongoose starts with a schema. So here it is saying you have to give me a structure for each document inside the collection. Okay, so here I am saying my collection name is post, and this is the structure of every document inside this collection. Okay, so this schema is something, schema is, you can see it is a skeleton. It is a skeleton for every document. Okay, so I am saying in every skeleton there will be a title, author, content, date, and there is a hidden field. Hidden is something which is a boolean value it will get. Okay, so here we can also give a default value. So we can replace it like the type is boolean, and we can give a default value called default is, say, default is hidden is false. Means by default only the all will be visible. Okay, so how we will define a schema? So schema is something which is the, what I said, which is the, what is a schema? What is schema? Please answer the question. What is schema? It is a skeleton, right? It is the structure of the document. Yes, you can say it is a table structure simply. Okay, so it is a, yes, it is a skeleton of a document or a layout of a document or a structure of a document. Okay, so now in order to define a schema, we will import, we have imported the mongoose here. So here I have taken the schema function, and there I'm defining a new schema which I have kept inside this post schema constant. Okay, so now after my schema is ready, so now I'm assigning, I'm giving name to this collection. So here, in order to give it a name, so I am defining this collection as a model. So the model's name is post. Okay, and this is the structure. So this model function takes two arguments. The first thing is the name of the model, and second thing is the the skeleton or the structure of the model. Okay, so here I'm saying, so you say if I'm creating a Facebook clone or LinkedIn clone or Instagram clone, so say here everything has a post, right? So here I'm saying the collection name is post, and this is my skeleton. This is my structure. Clear? Is it clear, guys? Confirm me. Is it clear, guys? Okay, fine. So our model is ready. So now next, what do we have to do? We have to import this model in our application. Okay, so we can do anywhere here inside. So here inside, import the models. So we will import it as, say, we will say it's const post equals required inside the src directory. Say we have the models folder, and inside models folder we have post. Simple. Our post is imported properly in our main index.js file. Okay, so now next thing is that, so there are 4 operations that we can perform for this post. First, let me tell once again. First is create, right? We can create a new post, right? Second, operations that we can perform, create. Second thing is read. We can read details of a post, right? The third thing is that we can update a post, and the fourth thing is that we can delete a post. So there are 4 basic operations that we can perform on any resource. It can be a post, it can be say review, the likes and everything. So if there is any resource, then we can perform these 4 basic operations: create, read, update, delete. And by default means in the shorter form is CRUD. CRUD is something which is a shorter form of these operations called create, read, update, delete. Okay, so I will remove this part for now. So now let's just cancel this part. I'll remove this part. Okay, so next what we will do, we will create an API for this create operation. Okay, so now normally in order to create any resource or any entity, which HTTP method do we normally use to create something? Can you answer? Let me know on the chat, guys. Which HTTP method you normally use? Post, right? So here I will write then simply application.post. So here I have written application.get because that was the get method. So but here we will use the post method. Okay, so here that's why I'm saying application.post. And as in the, I think, third session, I have explained about the REST API, and as per REST API design principle, we should create something. Say if we are creating a post, then the route would be /posts, okay, with the post method. What will be this week task? Please let's first concentrate in this session, then I will give the task. Why you are even in a hurry? Function, request and response. A lot of task is coming on your way. Okay, so here I'm explaining that I'm creating an API to create a post. Okay, so now what we have to do is that we have to get the values from the request body, right? So I will, okay, so let me open my postman once. Guys, just confirm me once whether the postman is visible to you. Okay, so I'm back. So guys, is the application visible to you, the postman? Okay, so HTTP localhost 3001 port, it is running. So by default it will get this ping pong. So now what route I'm defining here? So I'm defining this posts route. Okay, I will copy this URL here from here to here. So let me zoom in a bit so you will get a complete picture. Okay, so here I will change this method to post. Okay, so have anyone used postman earlier? A new collection. Okay, so you can download this tool. It is good, it is great actually for testing APIs. Resource name, say create a post. Okay, so there what you can do is that you can send in order to test any API. So whenever you will deal with a lot of APIs, you have to test. Okay, so to test the API, so how we will do that? Here we will define, they have defined, given all the HTTP method. So what happens in browser, you can only test the get method. Okay, here in the browser, if you hit any URL, that by default it goes in the get method, but you will not be able to post any data, right? Here you will, if there is no form in API, so then how you will create the data, right? So to do that, you have to use this create, you use this postman where you will get the options to send values in your with your request. Okay, so here I'm just using this thing called posts. So inside this posts, what I will do, I will send some data. Okay, so I'm saying I will send this data. So here I'm saying inside this request body, I will send data in JSON format. Okay, so then how it will look like? So what are the fields that is available in our API? So first thing is the title, author and content. Okay, these are the three fields that we have to pass from our API. Okay, so here on the title is, I'm saying, say our first API call. Okay, second is the author name. So what is the author name? So here I'm saying author name is Abhishek Jana. Okay. Third thing is the content. Inside this content, I am just sending, say we are creating our first blog API using MongoDB and Node.Js, right? This is the content. So now what will happen if we would send this data to our application? Okay, so in our application, we have to catch these values, right? We have to get these title, author, content values. So what will happen if I would send it right now? If I would send the request, so here I will get straight away an error called 404 not found. So here you will get graceful errors. So that means whatever resource I'm requesting, so that is not available on the server side. Okay, so then what we have to do is we have to go to our server, we have to stop the server, we have to restart it. Inside this application, okay, sorry, I think Mongo's import is wrong, that's why it is giving the error. Now let's start the application. Let's see. Yes, the server is running. So now if I would send this thing, send this file, if I would send this request, then let's see what happens in the server. I have not responded with anything, right? So here inside this index.js file, so there is nothing here inside the response. That is the server is the request is taking so much time. I can cancel the request right now. Okay, so now let's focus on the implementation. Okay, so how we will get this all of this data inside our API endpoint. So inside this implementation block, how we'll get the data? We will get the data like, say we have this request, we have access to this request payload, right? So from this request, I would say inside this request body, so inside this request body I have this title. Okay, this is something which would give me the request, the title of the post. Okay, so here we can define it as a constant, say post constant title equals request dot body dot title. Similar thing we can do for other attributes as well. For author, we will define a constant called author, which is present inside this request body. And for content also, we can simply define a constant, and we can assign it to a variable called content. Okay, so now in response, what we will, let's see if we are getting these values properly. So we will send these values, we will send these title is title, the author is author, and means I'm sending just in key value pairs. Okay, so now let's restart the server and let's see what error it would give now. Yes, so as you can see, whatever values I am sending, I am just getting a 200. Okay, means everything went well in the server side and we have received all the same values. So you are understanding, right, how we are getting, how we are accessing the request values? Is it clear to you how we are accessing the request values here? Okay, so now we have to use this value to create our new post. Okay, so I will close, I will comment this part now. So now to create a new post, we have to use this product or the post model that we have defined. Okay, so how we will do that? Say const post is equal to new post. Okay, so this variable is something which is a new post. Okay, but it is empty right now. So now we have to assign, sorry, we will define as a var. Now we have to assign the post title is equals, this title variable is something which I would assign it here. Same thing I will do for the author and the content. Okay, so here I will say assign values to post model. Okay, and I will comment it like say get values from request payload. Okay, so first we have to get values from request payload. Second, we have to assign values to the post model. Third thing is that we have to now our post object is ready. We have to there is a method in Mongoose. So if I would give say post.save, it will save the object in database and then you will get some response. Okay, so now we will give say product.save. So now how we would know whether the save has happened or not, or is there any error or not while saving? So there is possible, right? There can some error can occur, means the database connection is not there, or there is some validation error. To in order to access that thing, so it gives a callback function. So once the error once the save is done, it gives us two things: error, it will say us if there is any error happened or not, or it will give us the saved post, you can see the or this or the success object. Okay, so now if I would say if there is an error, you then you have to send a error response, else we have to send the success response. In the else case, what we will do is that we will give say response, the same response thing we will use in this case, dot, we will set the status, means HTTP status to 200. We will send this saved post, this new object. Okay, whatever got created on the database, we will send that. And if there is an error, in that case we will send the status code say 500, and here in this case we will give a error say unable to save post. Okay, so I think this till this part it is ready. Now save the post. So let me add some few comments so it will be easier for you to understand. Send error response, send in this case success response. Okay, I will remove this thing. So is it clear, guys, this part? Here I am getting values from the from the request body. Here I am assigning these values to the new post object. Okay, and then after that I am saving this value in our database. Okay, and this save method, it gives us a callback function, means it gives us the access to the error if there is an error happened, or it gives us, and another thing is that it gives us also the new object, so new post object. Okay, so what happens whenever some new post got created, it will give a database ID, right? So that ID is something which we will use in future, so that we will get in this object. So now first I'm checking if there is an error. If there's an error, then I'm just sending the error. If there is any success is happening, then I'm sending the status code is 200, and I'm sending this new post object. All right, so let's test this. Let's restart our server, and server is running. So let's send again the same values. Okay, so we will hit send. As you can see, success, right? Because we got a ID field. This is the database ID that is coming from MongoDB. The date is by default, it is coming the auto-generated one. The hidden field which we have already defined as a false, by default it is coming, and the other fields like title, author, content, everything is coming. So is it okay, or should I explain once again? Understood, guys? If you understood this concept, then type understood on the chat. Okay, so okay, once again people are asking. Okay, fine. Once again I will explain. So first, the endpoint, it is clear, right? We have to save. If we have to save something, we have to send it in a post request. Okay, in this post request, our endpoint should be the name of the resource that we are trying to update. In this case, it is post, but it has to be in plural, so that's why it is posts. Okay, the s is there. Okay, and so after our endpoint URL is ready, the next task is how we will get the values from the request body. So we have access to this request, right? So from that, I'm saying inside this request body, I have the all title, author, content, everything. So here I have shown in the postman. So inside this is my request body. This part, till this part, it is the request body. Okay, so here inside this request body, I'm saying I'm sending the body as a JSON object, and inside this JSON object, I'm defining the parameters like title, author, content. Okay, so once I'm getting this parameter inside these variables called or the constants called title, author, content. Now once we get the values, we have to save these values, right, in our database. So that's why we are using our post model. So here I'm saying I'm initializing a new post. So here the var post is equal to new post. Okay, this is our model name, and here I am assigning the values for the post. Okay, so here the post has a title attribute, the post has an author attribute, the post has a content attribute. Here I am assigning these values. Okay, so these values are assigned here in this case, and once our post this variable is ready with all of the values, and then we have to save this value in our database. So for that, Mongoose gives us a save method, so which we can apply on top of this model, on top of this model object. Okay, this object. So here I am applying this save method. The save method gives us a callback function, means whenever the save happens or not, it gives us access to the error and the new object. Okay, the first we will handle the error. If some error is happening, then I'm sending a status code, say 500, and I'm sending an error, say unable to save the post. Okay, and if the else case, means the success is happening, in this case I'm sending a status code called 200, and along with that I'm sending the new post, right? So let's test this thing on once again, our say second API call. So I will change the name, second API call using MongoDB and Node.Js. Okay, so let's see if we hit enter. Yes, so 200 okay is coming. So the same 200 we have given here, 200 okay is coming, and we are getting the new values. Okay, this is the new ID that we got here, and this is the title, author, and the content. So now let's see these values in our MongoDB database, how it looks like there. Okay, so I have to share the mongoose as well. Is the mongoose visible, guys? Yes. So now you will see that you will see a new collection, like whatever I think if I could zoom in a bit. Yes, the zoom in is working. So there you will see a new database, right? So called first node API DB, which we have created already, right? So inside this database, we have one collection called posts, right? So if I go inside this post, here on the right hand side, we will see the data. Our first API call, our second API call. Data, it is there on the database, and the insertion is working. This creation part is done, right? Is it okay? Is it making sense right now? Type makes sense on the chat. Okay, great. So we have created our API. So we have created our post. So now I will explore API, another API to get list of all posts. Okay, so whatever post we have created, we will get a list for that. So that is the read operation that we will do. Okay, so get a list of all posts. Okay, so this one is simple. Again, we will use the get method app.get. So inside this get method, we will give the URL called /posts. Now we have a function which has access to request and response. Now you see in these two APIs, the URL is same /posts only, but the HTTP method is different. Okay, in this case it is post and in this case it is get. So do not confuse here. Okay, so what we will do, we will find all post. To do that, the thing is very simple. So first we have access to this post model. Inside this post model, there is a find function that is available in MongoDB. Okay, so inside this find function, it gives us a object. So here we can, if we want to query with anything, we can do that. Say if I want to query it by title, say title is something, say API, so we can do that. Okay, so right now I will remove this thing because I want everything from this API. Okay, so I will keep it as a blank object. And second thing is that it's a similar thing like what we had here. So we have access to these error and response, those things. So function error, and it gives us access to the list of all posts. Okay, so I will just simply copy this part from here. I will just paste it for the sake to save some time. Okay, so if there is any error, then I will send say response say 422. I will send say unable to fetch posts. Okay, and if everything is there, then we will send the list of posts. Simple. Our product listing API is ready. It is that simple, guys. So let's go to our terminal and restart the server. Okay, so similar same API call. I will copy this endpoint. I will paste in. I will open another tab here in Postman, and in this case, it is the get method. Okay, so if I would send the request, as you can see, the response is coming. Here I am getting one array. So inside this array, I am getting this object. Okay, so two posts are coming, title, and every field is coming, title, date, author, content, everything. So our second API is also ready, right? So now those who are asking for task. So here is the task for all of you. Task for you. Sorry, not task. There's a multiple task here. First, create API to get details of a single post. Second, create API to get, to update a post. And the third thing is that create API to delete a post. So the C part is complete. The creation part I have implemented. Now we have to, and partially I have implemented this read part. Yes, of course I will share this code. Why not? Let me just open my GitHub. Okay, so I have to do a git init here. Okay, initialized. So now let me go back to my profile. Here I'll create a new repository called first Node.js API, blog API, right? So I will create this repository. It is a public repository I'm creating. So git add dot git commit dot minus m initial commit, done. So our repository is ready. Yes. So the repository is ready and all tasks are given there. Okay. So I'm sharing the URL on the chat. Thanks to everyone. Everyone in the meeting. So I'm sharing the URL. Okay. So I will also share the URL. You just visit this URL here from here on, and then I will share it from in the group as well. Okay. So in tech resources, I'm sharing this URL. We can check it out from there also. All right. So that is it, guys, for today's session. Was the session helpful for you to create new APIs? Okay. So would you be able to complete it by this weekend, these 3 APIs? Guys, try to do it by yourself. And this is assignment 4, and we will create. So I will upload the video. So it will take a day or two's time. Okay. So yes. So maybe by Wednesday, I will upload this video. No, sorry, more time I cannot give because there are a lot of tasks that is present in the final project. This is nothing so where should I send the GitHub repo of the task? So same thing. I will make it available. This assignment 4 submission link, I will make it available in that same Google form. So there you will just go to that form. You select assignment 4 from there, and you check this. You submit this GitHub repo URL. Okay. So those who is asking Pratham that there will be the final project. Final project is something which I will disclose on Thursday. Okay. And you have to, so primarily you have to work on the front end part using React, and there will be a scope of development in backend as well. So if you are interested in Node.js, so there will be scope of development in Node.js. So 5 points for doing front end work, that is primary. The second 5 points is additional bonus point. That is, if you can do that, you will get 5 points for the backend. So there are total 10 points. From there, 5 plus 5 you will get. All right. So please repeat what you have to do in task 4. So task 4 is, guys, that you have to create. So whatever API that I have created to create a new post or to get the list of posts. So here the four tasks for you, 3 tasks for you. That is, create API to details get details of a single post, create API to update a post, create API to delete a post. This is the 3 APIs that you have to create here in this file only. You do one thing, everyone. You do fork this repository, and or you can also, yes, you fork this repository, or you can also create a new one. Okay, so yes, so in that form you have to submit assessment 2 and assessment 3, assignment 2 and 3 separately. Okay, so yes, so yes, so those who have not submitted, please, those say you have submitted assessment 1 previously, please go and submit assessment 1 and 2 a link there using the form, guys. So that would be easier for us to track down and to evaluate. Okay, otherwise you will not get the marks. Okay, that's why please go and fill the form. And the test that I was mentioned today, I have mentioned in the group today. Please, there is some problem that is happening at our end, in system end. So that's why the test is postponed till tomorrow. So tomorrow, the same PM at 7 PM, you will get the test will be live. So 7 to 10 PM. That is a 10-minute test only. You just go appear for the test once, and just don't miss the date, guys. Okay, so that is, guys, for everyone. Okay, bye. So see you all in the next, I think next live session will be on Monday itself. But yes, our test is tomorrow. Live session is on Monday. So to Monday I will start with React. So there I will, again, that would be a coding session. So I will create a new React project, and then I will explain what are the things and how you should do, what is component and all. That would be an interesting session. Okay, quiz session is something okay which we will conduct. So in that quiz session only on Thursday or Friday, we will disclose the details of the final project. So quiz plus final project. So that thing is coming this week. Sorry guys, so last Thursday or Saturday I could not conduct because a lot of development is going on in our end, and we had a lot of deliveries, high priority deliveries in the last week. That's why I could not conduct the last session. Sorry for you, because you have also pinged me on the Discord, but I could not answer, so I was busy. So sorry for that. So I will attend this Thursday session, I think so. All right, so that is it guys for everyone. Have a good day. Sorry, have a good night. Bye.